Hello and welcome to Workshop Wednesday. Sorry this edition got out late, but we're going to cover LED lighting. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to connect the lighting, how to test the lighting, and just generally do a DIY install on LED lighting because it's so bright, so easy to use. So these are the clips that I use. You have a positive and a negative that go under two little clips at the end that snap onto the LED lighting. So when you look at the LED strip, there are, it's labeled, it's very small, but there are positive and negative markings on the strip. So I'm pointing out here one of the either positive or negative, and that this one is the negative and the other one was the positive. I can tell because the way that I have the clip strapped on, you can see the wiring is red on the top and then the negative is black on the bottom. Since it uses DC power, it is polarity specific. So I have everything just stuck in place, and then I have the end on, and this line is for power. I removed the existing light and am kind of stealing the power, and now I'm just going to test to make sure that this clip-on tip is working properly. When you use very long strips, you need to connect lighting on from both ends. So as you can see, this end is working properly. The next step is to test the terminal end at the other end of the LED strip. That way, so that we know that both connections are working good when power is coming from the other end. These specific strips that I use are 600 LEDs in 15 feet. So they require a lot of power to run. That's the reason that they are so bright. This wire is already ran in the wall to the other end. I already have a terminal on the other end of the wire. I do not have a terminal on the end of the strip, so I have to get that in place. I have to trim the end to the cut point and then add the tip, the terminal tip on so that I can connect the wires and test the end. So now that I have everything all connected, right here, I'm expecting the light to come on. But as you can see in the right hand side of the screen, I don't have this wire connected to the power. That's when I realized it right there. Now that I have the power connected, let's get these ends reconnected and test the strip to make sure everything works. When I install the LED strip, once I peel the sticky back off, or peel the protective sleeve off of the sticky back and get everything installed, I then seal the LED strip with the clear sealant that I used. I had already sealed the far end of where I'm working at, and I have to scrape the sealant off because it's not making a good connection. Sometimes whenever I'm doing shorter strips, I'll measure the strip out and cut it and make the all the connections before I mount the strip and test both ends to make sure that everything is working properly before I put it in place. Now that everything is connected properly, we have light. The final step here is I always twist my wiring together before I put the connector, my crimp connectors on, so that it's a permanent connection at that point. Here I put in a junction so that I could put a small strip above the wet bay. I also have a strip that runs under the front edge of the multipluses, and there are also strips underneath each multiplus and also under the switches there for the tying in your on and off switch is actually one of the easiest things to do. You take your positive leg, undo the junction, you can use a regular light switch. You put the positive terminal under one of the switch screws, put the other positive terminal under the other switch screw, therefore breaking the connection unless depending on the position of the rocker switch or the on-off switch. Now that we have the lighting working, all we have left to do is put everything in the proper box, and then the final product, once you do all the wire management, actually turns out pretty nice.
We are the dry campers, Leanna and Mike. We make you feel pampered if solar power you'd like. We'll install lithium and panels up on top. No more worrisome, your electric will stop. What makes us special is that we come to you. Get on our schedule, your worries are through. When Mike is done, you'll